Mr. Miller, I don't have the pathology yet, but I have seen enough to know that you have colon cancer. It was October the 15th, 2019, 3 months ago after my regularly scheduled colonoscopy that my doctor told me I had cancer. I suppose most people react to that kind of news with shock, denial, fear, or anger with God. The news for my wife Lorraine and me was sudden and very unexpected, but our reaction as we looked at one another was different. I think the best way to describe it is calm. We were amazingly peaceful, knowing the Lord was looking out for us. We spent the next few days praying, Googling, and discussing what was about to happen. At our next appointment, the next Monday, the doctor made us feel good. He reviewed the report and explained what needed to be done. He seemed relaxed, sitting on a stool with one arm resting on a windowsill. He said we would schedule surgery at the next appointment so that we would have time to digest all that was said. At our next appointment the following Friday, he seemed just as relaxed, and surgery was scheduled for November the 6th. Since we had a few days before surgery, Lorraine and I decided to go to the beach and spend time with her father, sister, and brother-in-law. We spent a lot of time together praying and talking about what a life-changing event this was. Through it all, we knew that God was in control and that no matter what, we would be okay. I don't know any other way to explain our feelings other than a confidence that God was in control and that everything would work out the way it was supposed to. In other words, we felt calm. It was very hard being laid up. I especially missed being involved in 2 ministries of our church that I was very passionate about, Food Pantry and our Ramp Building Ministry. The Food Pantry is a ministry of our whole church, men, women, teens, and children. Last year in 2019, we helped 241 families, including 123 children, 306 adults aged 19 to 64, and 103 seniors aged 65 and up, for a total of 532 individual lives we are touching. We distribute food every second and fourth Saturday from 8 to 9:30 a.m. About 25 volunteers, adults, youth, and children, help pack and give out this food. We can always use more help. If you are interested in volunteering or need more information, please see me or call the office to be put in contact with one of our volunteers. I know you'll find it rewarding. The other ministry I miss is ramp building. Last year, the Baptist men and youth finished 10 ramps and have 1 ramp still under construction. 1 ramp was for one of our church members, but the rest were for those in Montgomery County that needed one. The response of our ramp building ministry has been overwhelming. In fact, we have a waiting list. When someone needs a ramp, they need it yesterday, but we are rarely able to respond in a timely manner. We have all the supplies we need to build several ramps at this time, but we need more manpower to get them completed. Please keep our food pantry and handicap ramp ministry in your prayers. I am so grateful that this church cares enough to reach beyond its own doors to help the community. As surgery approached, here I was prepping again like I had for the colonoscopy just 3 weeks before. Many of you know how unpleasant that can be. As we drove to the hospital November the 6th, the sense of peace I felt amazed me. The competence and professionalism of the nursing staff and surgical team reinforced my appreciation of the skills the good Lord has bestowed. After 7 days in the hospital, my doctor said he was putting me on a normal diet of solid food, and if I did okay, he would send me home the next day. I must admit, I thought he was crazy. I did not think there was any way I would be able to go home the next day. Well, it's hard to describe how much better I felt the next morning. So when the doctor came in about noon and said I could go home, I thought I just might be ready. 8 days after getting out of the hospital, I went back to the surgeon and had the staples removed. He explained in detail again what he had done and why. I kept having the feeling that someone very important was looking after me. 11 days later, on December 3rd, I had an appointment at Levine Cancer Center in Albemarle to get the results of my surgery. As Lorraine and I were sitting in the doctor's exam room, we were talking about the news we were about to hear. You know, expecting the worst and praying for something not quite that bad. When the doctor came in, he sat down and said, "I'm going to get right to the reason you are here, and then I'm going to explain why. You are cancer-free." Wow. I felt tension I didn't know I had just flow out of my body. Lorraine and I let the news sink in. Although there will be tests, checkups, and blood work every 3 months for the next 2 years, there is no chemo or radiation in my future. Praise God, I am cancer-free. Words are so inadequate to describe how I am feeling now. I am so grateful for the support given to Lorraine and me by our families, friends, and especially our church family. I thank the Lord many times every day for always being there, even when I'm taking Him for granted. I am so thankful that prayers are being answered, and it looks like I am getting my health and strength back. I have been able to start back helping with the food pantry, and I hope to start helping with ramp building shortly. I'd love to see you join us, especially you men. I am Bob Miller, and I'm being raised to life.